Guys, what's going on? This is the Moloney versus Baez post-fight reaction discussion. Doing this a little bit differently today, guys, since we're mobile today. We're mobile, so we're doing this live stream a little bit different, But basically, Jason Moloney, he went out there, he did what he was supposed to do. He did what his brother Andrew couldn't do against Joshua Franco. Jason Moloney took on Leonardo Baez, another tough customer, a guy who wanted to fight him on the inside the way Joshua Franco sort of fought his brother on the inside. But the difference between the Moloney brothers, the one that we watched tonight, Jason versus Andrew, the one that we saw on Tuesday night, the difference is that this brother is much more of a rough customer, especially on the inside. He's more of a power guy. He's more of an inside fighter, it looks like to me, not as much of a mover as his brother Andrew was on Tuesday night. This is the more heavy-handed, sort of brawling brother. Disney Everett, thank you for joining, brother. No, there's not going to be any video. I'm mobile. I don't have access to the studio right now, but nonetheless, you could join me live right here. And I appreciate you guys joining me. Appreciate you joining me, Disney Everett. So, yeah, essentially, Jason Moloney came out today, obviously, spurred on by the loss that Andrew Moloney, his brother, suffered on Tuesday night. Probably said to himself, man, I got to redeem the family name tonight. And, went in there and did work. He went in there and did work, and he did a fantastic job. He went in there, what I noticed was that he really roughed Leonardo Baez up. He was a better inside fighter than Baez. He was landing really hard shots on the inside and at mid-range, kind of trying to deter Baez from fighting his fight on the inside, and I think it worked. Moloney was throwing really, really heavy, sharp shots throughout the fight while Baez was in his wheelhouse. And he proved to be a much better inside fighter than Baez. Basically wore him down. And eventually in the 7th round, Baez's team decided not to let him out. Retired him right on his stool at the 7th round. At one point, I was looking at the statistics of the fight, and you had Jason Moloney landing 128 shots, and Baez had landed something like 87, and Moloney had actually thrown less at that point. So, I mean, he'd landed, over a quarter of his shots. I believe it was at about the 5th or 6th round. He had landed over 120 shots. Baez hadn't even surpassed, 80 or 90 shots landed. And it was looking the way the statistics seemed. It was looking like Moloney was just overwhelming Baez in every way, shape, and form in that fight. Disney Everett just said, don't call us knuckleheads. But that's exactly what you guys are. You guys are a bunch of knuckleheads. But, I appreciate you guys joining me anyway.
Why is it taking so
long? Jason Moloney doing what Andrew Moloney couldn't do. But, let's be honest with ourselves. Leonardo Baez was not, he was not a Joshua Franco. Joshua Franco is a guy who Manny Robles brought up on our podcast on Monday and essentially said, here's a guy that's, very experienced and gained a lot of knowledge in his trilogy against Oscar Negrete, and he's going to be in there, and he's going to be tough, and he's going to win that fight. That's what Manny Robles said about the other Moloney brothers fight. That's what he said about Joshua Franco. He predicted that Franco would beat Andrew Moloney, and that's what happened. So, I mean, I don't think it was just, Jason Moloney having a better performance than Andrew Moloney, although he probably did fight to his potential more so than Andrew Moloney did. But I think what happened with Jason Moloney, is that Jason Moloney was, fighting a guy that was not at the level of a Joshua Franco. Joshua Franco proved himself to be a very high caliber fighter. He proved himself to be very tough on the inside and at mid-range. And, he proved himself to have fantastic, cardio. And he kind of wore away at Andrew Moloney throughout that fight. And again, I mentioned this before, kind of reminded me of that Gvozdyk versus Beterbiev fight, where Beterbiev just kind of held his ground, allowed Gvozdyk to kind of move around and shift and burn out all his energy, and eventually it caught up. I mean, it's hard to keep a pace like that for 12 rounds, and eventually you're going to get, you're going to get caught. You're going to get tired. You're going to get caught. So yeah, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Click the links below. Get your Fighters Rep shirt. Support this whole thing. Right now, obviously, we can't put fights together. Because the entire state is still shut down because of the virus, especially for fights. It looks like the soonest we'll be able to do any sort of fights will be the middle of July. And even then, I mean, that's not even when the fights will happen. That's probably the soonest that the California State Athletic Commission will come to an agreement as to what protocol we have to follow to put fights on in this state without an audience. So, I would imagine it's going to be a while before you see any fights in California that are actually sanctioned by the state of California. As of right now, I don't think any are allowed at all. But yeah, that's what it is, knuckleheads. So, I really appreciate you guys joining me. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell me what you think, about this video, about this fight. We will be airing our premiere interview with Roman Puga tomorrow at 7 p.m. He's a fantastic young talent. It's a new format of interviews we'll be doing, not just, live from home, but live in person. There'll be great in-person interviews, so definitely tune in tomorrow around 7 p.m. for Roman Puga, a very interesting kid. He fought for us, went on to fight for Bellator. He's still, grinding. He's a professional boxer as well. He's 1-0, and he's going to tell you about his life, what he went through, how he became a fighter. Man, these interviews are going to be the dopest interviews, so definitely tune in and check them out. But anyway, knuckleheads, that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, I'm the Fighters Rep. I'm out of here.